higher level players out of pools.
Yo, hold up, y'all. Yo, hold up, y'all. Yo, we just got fucking Maximilian dude and fucking.
I really hope my
SonicFox
mic is working.
Yes, your mic is good.
Oh God. I don't want to hijack you guys by any means, but I literally jumped in through I think watching Steve watch you guys, and conversation was immediately like, oh man, yeah, this is the exact same thing I was talking about back in 2011, 2012, where I can't put all my eggs into one basket, got to start diversifying, like all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm adjusting my audio right now so I can hear everybody, but I mean, if there's anything just from my perspective, because this is something I'm truly interested about. There's a reason I'm like obsessed with free to play and finding new players and finding ways to expand the community. It doesn't help me; it helps everybody. And it's like been an obsession of mine since like 2010 to 2012 of just finding new ways to get people into fighting games, because you're going to eventually replace the old heads with new heads. New heads are going to become Evo champions, right? And then the process just repeats.
Yeah, so I think that right now, personally, that like it's looked at as like, oh, you can be a content creator, but you don't have to or whatever. Bro, or that it's only for people like myself who have super loud personalities. But really, you know, you are the biggest fucking content creator in the FGC, and you're not the loudest dude in the world, or, you know, so on and so forth. And I think the stuff that you do, I'm not saying anybody can do it as far as anybody can do your content, but what I'm saying is anybody can make their own fire ass fucking content. So right now, it seems like players feel like they don't need to actually provide any type of value. I don't think that who wins, even the concept of these orgs or these developers, Capcom don't give a fuck who wins the tournament, or Bandai don't really care who wins the tournament necessarily. Of course, we all give a fuck, but in the end of the day,
to an extent. You don't want somebody mad racist. You don't want somebody mad racist winning.
You don't want the flat earther.
To an extent. Exactly. It is to an extent. There has to be some level of care, and any corporation investing into any esports about who wins. As they're not going to sit here and go like, you know, like if they see like racists winning their tournament, they're probably not going to put money. That makes sense.
That's why they ban people and do things like that.
That's extremely true. Also, when it comes to these big companies and stuff, the way that you provide feedback is insanely critical. Like, and I've seen a lot of really good friends essentially get thrown into the trenches because of the way they were treated, because of the way they provided feedback. And either just blowing up or popping off, essentially popping off in a very similar like fighting game community kind of way that back in the mid 2010s might have been eye-catching and get you a lot of clout for a brief period of time.
That, Max, bro, like with these whatever productions and stuff, whether it be like the Challenger with TBS or Intel or any of these type of, you know, anything with Capcom or production companies, they always like this whole idea of like the esports is gonna ruin the FGC and make us all fucking robots and shit. Bro, these people come from TV and shit, reality TV. They want the bullshit. They want the drama and the energy, in my opinion, bro. And in my experience, that they want all that.
I think that depends on the production company.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Capcom Japan. That wasn't like that, bro.
No, bro, that's not Capcom Japan. Let's be real. That's the USA production side who is hosting the events on behalf of Capcom.
I want to throw out there too. In terms of esports, I think just by fighting games in nature is like because of how competitive it is by literally nature. There is no way it doesn't become esports. It brings about the question: is can we maintain it, trying to be an esport, and can we get bigger and grow with it? And I do think, for what it's worth, that we are heading in that direction with, you know, NRS games and as of Capcom games, which I keep telling Capcom players are all trolling not playing any bit of NRS games. But even with that being said, I do think there is growth and like potential for the FGC to explode, especially with Project L on the horizon. It's just that we need players to like I think not just being good at fighting games is enough, being marketable and having like
well, Sonic, that's
good.
That's happening right now. Like, and I could tell you for a matter of a fact that I was blown away for how many years that I was essentially left alone with like I'd say very few other content creators, like I almost had no technical quote unquote competition. It was like excellent adventures until the NRS scene really started popping off content wise with like Mortal Kombat X, and NRS games had huge content creation as a result of people that were not essentially competitors at all. They were very good at the game, but they weren't competitors. So what happened in 2020? Pandemic hits, nobody can go to tournaments, there's no sustainability, everyone has to become a content creator, and now everyone is a content creator. Now everyone has like a reason to essentially monetize and work from home and essentially be producers of their own production, whether you're with Panda or whatnot, without having to travel to tournaments like crazy. But then it's a weird balance now of like, people want you to go to tournaments, you have to now be the competitor and the content creator at the same time.
It's a lot easier to do that.
Which proves to be challenging as holy shit.
Yeah. When you're not going to tournaments every single weekend, it becomes a lot. Because that was my path, right? It's like, well, what the fuck do I do now? So YouTube, right? But I feel like a lot of people, like that was my question too at the time. I was tweeting about it a lot before I just sat down and did it. I was like, why aren't like top level players like consistently doing YouTube content? Because you can see Max, you were doing it, and NRS YouTube I studied for a while. It was wild. Like NRS YouTube is huge. Like
I just want to say, literally, like Billy Bob Joe will sit here and be like, yo, check out this Rare Brutality, and literally get a million views.
Millions of views. I don't think this is very Street Fighter centric right now. I don't think any of the people who come from Rob or my audiences will know. Go on YouTube and like type in NRS, Mortal Kombat, whatever. There'll be channels with hundreds of thousands, a million subs, and all they do is just do casual content.
Smash is not huge. Players, they just make content and they get hundreds of thousands of views. That's what I
was tweeting for the longest time. I was like, why?
I got a funny question for you guys, because this is so outside of like the FGC bubble, and that's honestly one thing that I can even attest my brief amount of like trying to build an audience, trying to see what people look at fighting games through, not just this lens that is the fighting game community that I have been a part of and hyper focused on since like 1995. And once I got out of it, it actually helped me a lot. How many of you guys know who the second biggest fighting game YouTuber the second biggest fighting game YouTuber? Does anybody know who it is?
No, I would guess it's Zeus, but maybe not.
You said you were guessing who, Sonic?
I was going to say Zeus, maybe, but maybe not.
Does Aris count?
It's Super, Darth Super. And for anybody that doesn't know him, he's been making Mortal Kombat X content and NRS content since 2015. Yeah, it's Super. And he's not really a huge FGC dude, but he's been essentially, he got into content creation from watching, I think it was literally the old live action assist me's that we did for MKX, and he started making videos as a result of it. And he recently passed 1 million subscribers.
I cannot believe I'm looking at his channel. I'm showing the stream right now, bro. I cannot.
I'm telling you, all you players are trolling, not doing NRS content creation.
There's a
even
bubble
if you don't like
on
the game.
There's a huge bubble on YouTube. Like Street Fighter or the Capcom team is the furthest behind. This is what I was tweeting about. NRS, Smash, so far ahead. And I feel like this builds lanes, because I think the conversation we're talking about is like, oh, do pro players have to do both? And I feel like right now you kind of have to, but I feel like we can do, the people who gravitate toward this can build the lane so that pro players can focus on playing more. Because I do think it sucks if you're not interested in it and that's what you're forced to do. Because I would love to just see the best in the world be passionate about playing games and focus on that. That's all they want to do. But right now it's not sustainable. But we need more people to do this kind of shit, to get more people in, to help build that lane. Because otherwise, if you, like iDom, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do YouTube videos, right?
I completely agree with you, Brian, because and this is coming from somebody that was practically exclusively the Capcom side for a very large majority of my life, especially like competitively in the mid 2000s, early 2000s, and Street Fighter 4 era, when the Capcom side went tits up, and Marvel 3 came out, and Ultimate Marvel 3 came out soon after, and everyone fucking hated it. And then Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out, and everyone hated it. And the Street Fighter 5 launch came out, and it was just nothing but like strike after strike after strike. So at that point, it wasn't cool to be a Capcom fan anymore for the casual audience, the people that will be eventually coming back and replacing, the people that stop watching, that grow up and lose interest in the FGC or lose interest in fighting games. Though that's what you have to do. You have to replace those people constantly, and that's the whole point of content creation.
I want to point out too, Max. It doesn't help too that like despite that I do think the Capcom player base is bigger than the NRS community. The NRS games themselves are, I think, the biggest and most selling fighting games.
Close.
By a large,
by a large margin too.
I don't think the Capcom community is bigger, is it?
The Capcom community play base is bigger.
Competitively, yeah.
Competitively, sure, but that's such a minor percentage of the players.
The Capcom community has essentially been conditioned since the early 2000s to have to stick to a game, because for several periods of time in the Capcom history, you have to stick to a game. There's no new games. They take so much time in between new titles. And that still is the case even as of right now. But yeah, I mean, that's a very interesting topic of like NRS longevity. How it's like, yeah, each new NRS game breathes in this huge life to the fighting game community, much less fighting games in general. So many new eyes, so many new players. It doesn't matter if it's an Injustice or a Mortal Kombat. It's a huge expansion in some way.
Hollywood too. It's just because they all like, especially with everyone just wanted to get like all the creators like get on like TV and stuff. Like it's just insane.
But you know,
there's a huge caveat to it. The NRS community, ever since Mortal Kombat 9, had also been conditioned to getting a new game every 2 years, and everyone's sick of that game after like a year to a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And now what happened? NRS community is essentially thirsting like crazy for anything because now they don't have it.
But like, I think it's smart though, because it's like once that game does get rid of bro, like whatever it is, whatever it's just it's like my hopes and dreams. Like my heart tells me it's Mortal Kombat 12 and they're going to skip Injustice despite it. I know in my heart it's going to be a trilogy, so we will get Injustice 3 eventually. My heart tells me it's going to be MK12, but the hope and the dream is that it's Marvel versus DC.
Oh, you know
it. They can't talk about it. And that's what they can't talk about it. That's the hope. It's Marvel versus DC. Like,
you know it.
Bro.
Yo, so look, I think like as far as like Street Fighter not being as big as these other things, right? I think even just culturally, like, you know, Street Fighter's, of course, is Japanese. It's, more, I know it's not literally anime, but I'm saying a lot of people outside that don't know anything about it might associate it with that type of culture. It's not as, the way Street Fighter is not as, like, mainstream as, like, there's a scene in the 40-year-old version. I don't know if y'all, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. But when fucking, you know what I'm talking about? When dude took the fucking, did the fatality with Sub-Zero, and he said, now I'm ripping your head off your body, and I'm throwing it at you because fuck you. That's why Mortal Kombat is fucking fun, bro. Like, just literally, motherfucker kicked in the balls. You cut their
kill
head
somebody,
off.
bro.
You kill somebody.
We
That's
invented the term, yo, kill that. Like, that term you hear it everywhere. No, we invented that. It was like, yo, kill that, bro.
So in Street Fighter, we don't got that type of shit. So I feel like off of that alone, we have to, or of course Smash doesn't have killing people and all that shit, right? But at the same time, Smash has all of the fucking most iconic characters from all of these big ass games. Of course, Smash is going to be big content wise, and you can play with multiple people and stuff. So I think with Street Fighter, we need to be going harder than all these other scenes, or maybe unless there's just a cap for how big Street Fighter can be because of the nature of the game. But the IP itself,
it's on Capcom. Honestly, the games are not developed with the same level of care that those other games you're talking about.
I do think they took too long making the new ones. No, I think they take too long making a new one. I think waiting like 6 or 7 years for a new game is not healthy for like any genre.
I literally was about to say too, I think it takes too long to get to the level of content creation that, like, for example, NRS just releases with day one. Like the single player experience for playing, for example, if MK11 and SF5, I'm talking like vanilla SF5, which are released right now, day one. The content creation and single player content in comparison to each other, like MK11 would just have SF5
story mode be decimated. Crazy.
No, it's not even just a story mode. It's like the conquest modes you can do. Yeah. It's the like the fun little like gear grinding that you can do.
That's what I'm talking about.
So much like single player content that's just not being capitalized upon.
And it's weird because I see the mentality in the chat of a lot of people like Capcom players don't want to play NRS games though. But the funny thing is a good game is a good game. So if your game, regardless of some of the mechanics in it, like I don't agree with everything in MK11, and I was pretty vocal about that from the first 2 hours I played, like the pre-release of the game. But am I gonna shit on anybody for like enjoying MK11? No, because that game offers so much in terms of like a premium, and I use this term now, a premium fighting game package that actually costs full price. It literally is giving you everything like you want. So of course that's going to expand the scene in a way that a ton of new players are going to be showing up looking for news, information, resources, as well as strategies of how to play this game. Is it going to last? No, but guess what? They're going to be showing up when the next game comes out. And now you have sustainability.
it's a good product. Like NRS games are great products, and it wasn't the best-selling fighting game that year, right? It was the best-selling game because they're good products. That's my biggest gripe with Street Fighter V and Capcom in general, and just almost every single fighting game release. They are dog shit products. As a product, Street Fighter V was the worst thing I had ever spent $60 on in my entire life. As a consumer, I had never felt more ripped off. Online didn't work. Lobbies didn't work. Stages didn't work.
So fast, bro.
It was just garbage. Everything about it was bad. The gameplay was okay once you're offline and playing person to person, but it was a horrible product, and it took 3.5 years to become a suitable product where I can be like, hey, this is an okay product that I can recommend to friends.
Yeah, I think even now
they need to be free to play, or they need to be good products when they come out. And right now, only NRS is really checking that box. I feel like every other fighting game release is a terrible.
Street Fighter 6 is looking like it might be good.
Yeah.
6 is looking.
I got an early prediction for you guys that if everything lines up the way it does and the roster is what we think it is, and the content of the game matches that, where it's like World Tour is probably going to have also multiple areas, and the online battle hub is going to be as feature rich as it is. If that game is truly going to have the full package and be crossplay and available on more individual systems than any Street Fighter game ever has, I'm predicting it eclipses Street Fighter 4 sales. And I even told Capcom guys this. I'm like, if everything lines up for you guys, you're about to get the best sales of a Street Fighter game in the first month.
It's been looking good. I've been surprisingly optimistic about Street Fighter 6 so far.
I agree.
I definitely want to try Street Fighter 6 too. I mean, Jamie just looks like that dude. He looks so fun, and the content they're promising on release, I think, is really interesting too. But I really want to get across the point too. Is this like despite as of 5 now, I think it's actually where it is right now. I think it's a really good game, and I'm like, damn, I really wish the game came out the way it did now on release, because I'd probably still be playing the game, because I actually think it's a really good game where it is now.
Yeah.
But it's like, with all the things that they added to it, it's like they took way too long to do that, and you can't. And for any kind of sustainability or players to play your game, like, sure, you'll get some players that are gonna come and try out. Oh, look at these new features that you're finally adding. Oh, look at these new mechanics, like that you're adding like 3 to 4 years later. But I don't think it's sustainable enough. You need to have that entire package from the get-go.
Yeah.
Or you're just gonna you're doomed to lose like a shit ton of the player base.
Half-baked 2 years early. I mean, it's so obvious. It was just not finished.
It's funny you guys mentioned that, because I can't even tell you. It was probably 7 or 8 years after there was some serious debacles with the early, because this is when I was dealing with this nonsense of Capcom fighting game stuff with content creation, back with Ultimate Marvel 3 bombing in the first month, but making up those sales years later, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken and all this stuff, where it's like there needs to be a shakeup in this division of this company. And I pray to God, I was talking to all the people that work there, when that's eventually going to happen, or if it's going to happen. And when that shakeup eventually took place, everything changed. You got season 5 of Street Fighter 5. You got the Street Fighter 6. There's definitely, you got the Capcom Fighting Collection, which everything has rollback netcode now. There's a very promising future for what those guys are planning, and those 2 lead producers that you see all the time for Street Fighter 6. Those guys give a shit. They really do. And there's a reason why Valle and even myself, we feel a lot of Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6, is because it's the same guys. It's the same people that are making Street Fighter 6 that made 5. It's just that now it's a completely different division.
Yeah, so Sonic, I wanted to ask you, and I guess actually Max too, even though you're not in the esports side of all of this shit. So as far as the general business model, I feel like esports teams, at least for the FGC, I would say you probably are an exception, Sonic. But in general, I think esports teams don't seem like they make any sense. I don't think it's worth, at least the way that they go about it. I don't really see the point of sending any player to a tournament damn near ever. So, what do you think about that? You there, Sonic?
Sorry, my mic was muted when I was talking. Whoops. Okay, so I was saying that it all depends on what kind of play that you're sending there. Because I said I disagree, because for example, if you send even though I am an exception, that doesn't necessarily mean that more players like me can't exist. Because I was just that kid that was just good at fighting games, and all of a sudden,
for now,
for now, exactly. But what I'm saying is and even with me branching out and touching on a lot more communities, I think with other esports teams, when they send other players out to go and promote their teams and especially if they do content creation. Like I think with esports teams, typically now, at least for my example, they want me to be both a competitor and a content creator, because that just, I mean,
so
that just makes
team
sense.
directly tells you that.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be both, and I think all esports team players should. It should be a requirement for you as an esports player to be both a competitor and a content creator, because it's not as hard as it looks if you have an editor on your side. If you're doing all that stuff by yourself, it is definitely stressful. But honestly, all the editing and stuff can be managed by your team and a lot of other stuff with all the people on the team. But with that being said, you still need to bring something to the table. I mean, for example, with me last year when I introduced those plushies for Twitter, those shits literally sold out in 2 hours.
That's fire.
Having that kind of marketability is absolutely insane. Which, stay tuned, guys, there might be more. But but having that kind of marketability for your players, or just having not even having to sell plushies, but giving something that people want to see and people want to do. There comes to an extent that's sure, you might be good at fighting games and people love to see that, but people want to see more.
But see when you fucking, I forgot what that tournament was, man. When you fucking signed the camera, the lens,
yeah.
So I know that shit is selling. That's just as important as winning the fucking tournament. Like that, I feel like that
personality.
Yes, fam. People ask, how many majors you want? I don't give a okay, I'm not saying that don't matter, but I'm saying I have won tournaments that I have lost. I guarantee you that. Mm-hmm. I've won a lot of tournaments that I have lost.
Evo 2019 was a tournament I lost in DBFZ, but I won. When Goichi beat me, and that single-handed moment he started crying and I put his hand up, that alone, I felt like I won.
That's fucking marketable. That's fucking god.
Yeah, bro, it's literally people from literally FPS communities and Dota communities literally know who me and Goichi are just because of that single-handed moment in gaming. When you can make yourself reach across other platforms, you just expand. But the way you do that is by any means of content creation. Now, me on my end, I was a little different because I was more of an influencer for people like me, for the LGBTQ plus community, for furries, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But as a result, I was able to slowly carry my way from an influencer towards more content creation. So I'm kind of that. That is where the exception lies with me. And even to an extent, I believe Maximilian is also an influencer as well in terms of content creation and video creation. And the thing is, players need to understand too that when you're on the way of having that personality that people look up to and having that content, you will in time, whether you're micro or macro, you will become an influencer whether you like it or not. And it's what you do with said influence that makes you reputable, if that makes sense. Because you can easily go down the wrong hill.
That's funny because you mentioned that, and I have to warn people at times, and I'm I got to tell you, I got however many thousands of people watching the Street Fighter 6 reveal, 50 or 60,000. I got to warn you guys, if you want a Darkstalkers, go buy the Capcom Fighting Collection, right? I'm gonna use this power I got right now to influence the hell out of you guys to go get something new made.
Make a difference, bro, in anything. Just make a difference in anything.
Yo. You guys hear me?
Your mic is real fucked up, Art.
Yeah, your shit is crunchy, bro.
Oh, it's crunchy? All right,
yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yo, Art,
but I want to say that you have to understand people don't become influencers by choice, and that's something you have to understand. And wanting to become I think especially in the FGC, if you want to make a profit from it and be able to do it for a living, you're gonna need to have some kind of influence somewhere. So whenever it eventually comes from you having that, whatever you're marketing, whatever your content creation, or whatever people just seeing you personality-wise, you need to make sure that when it does come, you're responsible for it. Because I remember when it happened to me, I went from incredibly reckless to way more humble than I was 4 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, I'm talking crazy on Twitter, and I only mildly talk crazy on Twitter nowadays. But yeah, people look up to you, and you need in order to keep that audience and grow it, you need to bring out content or talk about or touch on things that will help expand your audience and listen to them too, and and why they follow you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. And Max, I was, to you specifically, obviously you're the fucking biggest content creator that we got in the FGC. It's damn near, I feel like it's damn near you made it outside of the FGC even though I know you're still a part of us and all that shit. So I don't want to be too general, but
the FGC knowledge guy.
Yeah, like, what do you think about the concept of a lot of people, bro? I hear this all the time when I talk to people offline and everything. They say, oh, they feel like they don't have X personality or whatever. Like, how do you feel? Like, do you think almost everyone can make fire-ass content? Or do you think it is kind of limited by personality?
Well, I'm just going to throw it out there right now. Like, I wasn't a personality guy. I actually had to find that through the process of making content, essentially who I wanted to be in front of a camera, right? Who I wanted to be in my videos, like that kind of thing. Because you're going to be yourself, but you have to be on, you know?
Yeah.
And people don't really understand the concept of being on, especially when you're on stream for like 6 to 8 hours. So all I can tell you is for anybody that is trying to do this or to become something, the only reason I started making the fighting game videos I did back in 2008, even to the ones that got some notoriety back in 2010 to 2011, is because I just wanted to I wanted to make the videos that I wanted to see other people make, right? I was waiting for other people to make this content, and this was before I was even thinking of the word content. I just wanted to see other people make this stuff. So instead, I just made it myself. And that was pretty much it. Be the producer for the content that you want to watch. You be the person to make that.
Be the change you want to see.
Yeah, that's
the classic quote, an MJ song.
Yeah. Find a need and fill it.
I was still so shocked that no pro players were putting in any effort to have a presence on YouTube. It just blew my mind. So eventually I just said, all right, just do it myself, right? But I like that Sonic brought up how rough it can be to do it without like an editor. I feel like that's something that needs to be taught. Because I feel like up and coming players, if they want to get on a team and get noticed, I feel like you kind of, unless you're iDom, right? Unless you're literally winning every single tournament, which is only going to be one person. One person's going to do that. You need to grow in these other platforms.
Yeah, that's better. Right?
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool.
To add on to that item, I want to throw out. That's why it's so cool to see like all these like that's why when people are like, someone was saying you should advance pro players out of bracket. I disagree, because even if the lower mid-level players somehow upset one of those top players, that's all you need to do to start creating content, honestly. Because people are like, oh, you're that dude that like beat Tokido at this tournament, you're that dude that beat SonicFox at this tournament. Just by being a top player and being really well recognizable, and then losing to another player that has literally no notoriety, you helped. Just by doing that, and even though it's salt-inducing, of course. Yeah, but even though it's salt-inducing, you can just be like, "Yo, like I'm that dude, bro. That can, I'm on my way." I
grew on the FGC by losing to Momochi. Before 2017, I went to final round and I choked it up against Momochi. My Twitter following like doubled that day, just by flying out and losing, because I got close and I choked it up.
I agree with you guys on everything, by the way. Like, that's why I was telling, it was funny, because 10 years ago, like, when I started doing tournaments, I was trying to tell all the pro players, yo, you should make a YouTube, make a Twitch, et cetera, and they didn't see the value in that. Now, you guys are saying exactly what I've been saying for 10 years. I'm so happy that everybody sees the light now. It's just too bad
because
they don't see it, though.
The pandemic essentially forced everybody's hand.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. It was too bad that COVID happened and it forced people to do it.
I want to be clear that a lot of people, like, even though this is an enlightening conversation, like, I want to make sure that we know that this is not the common thought process throughout the pro players. Like, I have these.
It's not at all. I'd be yelling at the NMS players. Like, I don't want to be a SonicFox. I don't want to be like, out here in a furry. I'm like, bro, you don't have to fucking do that, bro. But just, like, make a YouTube, make a Twitch. You're kind of trolling, not doing that. People, like, you have presence, you have video, and then like, if you, it may not look like it's growing, but dude, it's growing. You just have to give it time, bro.
And also, look, I want to know what y'all think about this. And Max, I ask you first, of course, with this topic, right? I think that people don't listen to, like, I'm someone who like the self-help books and shit. Like, I was in business school and all that. And, like, the whole concept of the market is always right, So I think that I've seen a lot of people complain, like, oh, my content's not doing X and Y views or whatever, right? At some point, I feel like you gotta look in the mirror. There is a such thing as bad content, right? Like, would you agree with that? Like, if it's not popping off at some point,
yes,
it's probably just not fucking good, and you need to accept that it's not good and do something different.
Yeah, there is such a thing as bad content. I mean, an easy example is just saying a slur, like, while you're doing your content. Yeah. Like, you're just gonna lose your viewing so fast. Somebody wants to see that shit. So,
and I think just in general, like, gauging what's interesting, what's catching, what's entertaining, like what are people looking for right now, is. It being like having that self-awareness is extra critical, especially if you want to remain relevant. I don't know how I've done it, but like in my scape, if you watch some YouTube videos, you'll watch like how long do content creators remain relevant, and it usually is 1 to 2 years is the average, and then it's just a constant downhill after that, and it's a hope that they started a business or something that keeps things afloat. I think you have to constantly evaluate and reevaluate, and that's tough because you have to break out of your bubble, and essentially look at like what are people interested in, what's coming out, what's exciting, what's hype, right, and sort of focus on that, and try to be aware of what's there in the future. Because man, I feel like I've reinvented content on my channel 6 times over the past 10 years.
Such good wisdom. Yeah, I remember when Crosstalk started and you had 70K subs back then. So you definitely reinvented the wheel so many times.
Yeah. Several times. And it was like, whether or not it's a new game, whether or not it's like, oh, there's this thing I'm really excited about, I'm going to make myself the resource that people will come to when they want to either get new information or watch gameplay. And I know I can't get that for everything. I knew I was never going to be able to get that for like Guilty Gear or even Dragon Ball or anything like that, because I just inherently have other fighting game genres that I just like a little bit more. But shit, dude, we hosted Mortal Kombat X, Killer Instinct, and Marvel 3 tournaments during the pandemic, and they had 40 to 50,000 people watching. So
you're basically the gatekeeper. Like, I think we can all agree that like every time we check our YouTube analytics, we're like, who suggested our content? Maximilian dude's channel, right? Mm-hmm. I know it says that on mine. So yeah, thank you for being a gatekeeper for all of us.
Wait. I want to point out real quick before I want to point out too, in terms of content creation too, that when you're making these videos, tags is everything. Tags is everything. Lie if you have to. Tags is everything, bro.
Now, how are people going to find your stuff? Yeah,
exactly. Tags are everything. You're, like I'm telling you, lie on the tags if you have to. The algorithm will pick it up, and even Billy Bob Joe from home will be like,
I don't even think I'm using tags. What you mean?
I'll have the Skullgirls video up, and I'll be like, bro, like, I'll tag it up as a Mortal Kombat though, and like, it has nothing to do with Mortal Kombat. But Billy Bob Joe will be like, type in Mortal Kombat on YouTube, and then see Skullgirls content. But the reason why I type in MK content is because like I'm like.
It's still relevant.
Yeah, I'm like one of the most important NS players out there, and like it's also a fighting game. So you just bro, tagging your stuff up in your algorithm, bro.
About hashtags in like the description.
Yeah, all the tags. That's how you get your views. That is how you get your. Look. I'm gonna tell you right now. Look. So one of my editors right now, I'm like, yo, hate me or not, it's Zeus's, okay? And the reason why it's because he used to like when I used to before I even got into YouTube content creation, he used to just take all my videos and stuff and just put them on YouTube. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I should probably do this myself, but this guy is already doing it for me. So I just hit him up. I was like, bro,
brilliant.
If you just I'll split it 50-50 if you just do this for my channel because you're already doing it. He was like, bet. And then now, if you look at my YouTube, it fucking exploded. Literally just look at my videos.
Is this the motherfucker who be stealing the content?
Yeah,
it feels a lot.
You can't beat him, join him, bro. Like,
exactly, dude.
That's what I did, bro.
When tournament organizers, they always get beat to the punch. You see all kinds of tournament organizers and the streamers losing out on revenue because some scalper would just immediately upload the video to a channel and they'll get like 1 million views, and then the actual tournament will get like no views on the YouTube channel. I've been saying we should just hire the scalpers. Just bring them in.
I'm telling you, if you can't beat them, join them, bro. Like, I literally just said, I was like, Zeus is, and the thing is, he knows, like, for better or for worse, he knows his shit. You look at his channel, he's exploding on YouTube, and anybody else's that he edits, their YouTube channel explodes. I remember when I tried to do it myself, I literally got like 100, 200 views on my videos, and then Zeus came along, and I was like, bro, just like do this for me. And then he tagged my shit up. He knows how to like just to gain the algorithm, and now, like I said, literally just put on my YouTube channel, just look at the most recent videos, and like the craziest part is all I be doing, and this is why I love Mortal Kombat so much. All I be doing is just playing games online, and because on the replay server that anybody can go and access it and record it, he literally just goes and records my matches as I'm playing them, and then just uploads them to YouTube. But I don't even have to do shit. He just sends them over, and I just go through and look at my shit, bro.
Like, I would say that the market though for Mortal Kombat gameplay is way higher than
it's way higher.
Street Fighter
it's way bigger.
Yeah,
I think if that's why I feel like the Street Fighter V content creators had to do a lot more personality based stuff. Because if iDom just puts his best replays up there, even if it's algorithmed up, it doesn't. I don't think
it doesn't matter.
Performs.
Yeah, there needs to be a storyline or
that's
absolutely
content.
true. Yeah. And I can echo that as somebody that gets the full perspective of a fan base's reaction, if not how from casual to even hardcore feel about Street Fighter V. That stigma still follows the game from the launch, unfortunately. Like, a lot of people don't give a shit if not to check out what's going on with latest Street Fighter gameplay or new characters, because what happened at the start of that game burned them so bad. So that essentially, like, if you want to boil it down to whatever the hell happened with like Excellent Adventures and all that stuff, like the Street Fighter 4 was the way it was and allowed an expansion in the way it did because it was the game that people wanted. So that a natural expansion occurs. If you just get a game that's like relatively mid and serves a relatively niche audience, the expansion's only going to be so big. And it's unfortunate that with fighting games, you got to hit a couple of notes that really are important between like characters and legacy and history and online playability and accessibility, like all the multiverses ticks, where you're actually going to see expansion.
Right. But I think there's still growth to be had, because I feel like a lot of people in the Capcom community don't realize how much of a bubble people are on YouTube. Like YouTube, like Twitch is a puddle, and then YouTube is the ocean.
Fam,
is he just copying?
I'm trying to get some fucking views. That's all I need to hear.
I want it, bro. I'm the rockets, bro. Like, just do it, bro.
Also, I got a huge tip. Something that I've learned too. Fully describe in 2 to 3 sentences, like less than a paragraph, what is happening in your video. Describe the game. Describe who's playing. Describe what happens. Describe if it's exciting. Do a full ass description of every video you make.
Oh, literally
just the words in there help.
Rob, I was gonna say you were checking out my multiverses video, but like just if you go back to my home, if you just check my my most pinned, if you go back and check my pinned,
hit the more button, Rob.
Channel, you'll see like even any of my MK videos, you'll see the way I have it tagged up. I have it tagged up a bit more than my.
You said your MK videos?
Yeah, literally just go back one and go to my homepage and you'll see it. Yeah. For example, the rain one right there.
Look at the full description. Don't just look at the hashtags.
Yeah.
Max,
because those aren't the hashtags aren't the actual tags. The hashtags are just video description stuff.
Yeah.
Tags are
so there's
hidden.
Tags.
The tags are hidden.
There's a
tags are
you actually put the tags
dashboard
when you upload them.
Yep.
How the fuck do I do that?
When you upload, it has.
All right,
stuff that you
you're about to leak your whole YouTube.
Yeah, don't do what you're doing.
Yo, don't steal my YouTube, y'all. My shit ain't big as theirs anyway.
All right, we can go over this, Rob.
We can do this off stream.
Yeah.
So I hate to interrupt you guys, but I got to get going.
No worries.
And just like a quick final thought, I think the only reason that I've been able to weirdly eclipse like a lot of situations and be on the lucky side of viewership that I have been for so long is that, number one, I was able to reinvent a lot of what's going on with fighting games in my channel and try to be ready for the future. And number two, I always position myself honestly, like, and this is brutally honest, right outside FGC, where the focus is on the game, right? The focus is on either the characters of the games or the developing of how characters are playing or all this kind of stuff, so that I would allow, if people were interested, to eventually go beyond just the game, to want to be interested in tournaments, to have that road. There's a clear path, right? Where I know that a large amount of my audience is not going to be interested in my content anymore, but they're eventually going to become Evo champions. They're eventually going to become somebody that is going to make a huge name in the scene, if not become a content creator themselves. So if you have to, I think, identifying your position, identifying what you want to be. Do you just want to be a top player? Do you want to introduce people to fighting games? And focus on that as much, because as I said earlier, it's like I'm obsessed with finding the things that get people into fighting games and exemplifying those moments, whether it's characters or mechanics or seeing sick shit that they do. And I feel like I made an entire career just off of making videos and streams of shit I love and describing why I love it. It's the weirdest situation.
You know, before I got like super like huge, I remember watching a lot of your videos, Max, which helped me get a lot more into the FGC. So yeah, it does. And it's a difference.
Thank you. And
Yo,
I do appreciate Rob and everybody else that's on here. I do appreciate your guys' conversation. I think these conversations are, and the reason I wanted it to pop in is because this stuff needs to be talked about more, because it's like, unfortunately, I realized it back in 2012, but just being good at the game and just playing video games is going to work out for a very small, very, very, very small minority of people. And you have to work your ass off in different ways in order to do it. Unfortunately, it led me away from being a competitor, but led me down a road that I would gladly replace with being a competitive high level player. And the fact that I've got to introduce what is Evo champions now, people that made it into top 8s that would thank me at Evo, I think that's worth more. So yeah, you have to sort of identify the position you want to be in and go for it.
Yo, Max, I want to say before you go, I just want to say, like, dead ass thanks for even coming through, bro, because you don't got to do nothing like this, and you choose to. You know, I've never heard nothing but positive stuff about you and everything. It's my first time actually meeting you, bro. So, you know, much respect to everything you've done for the FGC and for specifically coming to talk to me and my chat and everybody like this.
It's no problem.
Call, bro. So much
best of luck to you, and best of luck to everybody else that's on here on your content creation, because we're all doing this shit right now, and it's tough. We're still waiting for Street Fighter to come out.
Will
anyway,
you be
have a good one, guys.
All right, later, bro.
See ya.
Later.
Yo, Sonic.
I'm gonna see if it's gonna be a Debo. Yeah, what's good?
All right, so now that Max going and everything, you know, you a player like me, even though you happen to be the GOAT, or arguably the GOAT, right? So I get to ask you the bullshit, SonicFox.
Ask me some crazy shit.
Hold on. Before we go off on a tangent, before we go off on a tangent, can I just ask Sonic something?
Yeah.
Can you pull Sonic's YouTube back up?
Yep. I got you.
So I noticed that all of your thumbnails and stuff kind of follow a set design. Is that intentional by you? Like
listen, yeah, I'm telling you, my name is just on the channel.
No. Yeah, it was good. I feel like just from what I saw on one page, if I was just scrolling through YouTube and I wasn't looking, I could immediately tell it's a SonicFox video based on the fonts that are used, the colors, everything like that. I think that's good. I'm
telling you, it's like, bro, you need eye catching. You need to like clickbait. Look, clickbait, bro. Just don't be toxic when you clickbait, but clickbait, bro. Yeah. It is absolutely like it is necessary. I'm telling you.
All right. Like I said, the title are the most important part. I think.
The thumbnail, the title, and the tags. I think.
Yeah,
are the most important part.
To me, the tags I feel like are so, but I feel like thumbnail, title are so. Crucial.
I'm telling you, the tags. I mean, is what makes it show up now. It's what it makes.
I definitely use tags.
But like, are you like? I'm talking about like 30 tags. And like, if you only put like 3 shit, you need to put like 30 tags in that bitch.
Mostly on my clips channel. My clips channel, I literally have the whole thing tagged out. Like you can't add any more tags. Like fail, funny. And, oh my god! You know what I mean? Like all those bullshit. Like
and Rob, you're looking at my channel too. Like when there hasn't really been much new shit. If you like I say, if you go to my home, you'll probably see like right when for example NRS DLC drops. Look at the difference in views. Like if you go up to home and you see
whenever there's like big updates.
For example, the most popular upload. Yeah, like when the things like that. Yeah. When DLC and shit initially drops, bro, like they take advantage of that, bro. I'm telling everyone when new characters and DLC drop, bro, take advantage of that shit so fast, bro. Like I'm already talking to my content creator. I'm like, bro, when even they announce the next NRS project, bro.
Are these unedited? Are these unedited streams?
Yeah, some of them are straight up unedited. I am telling you, like just fucking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Rush, can I ask Sonic some?
Absolutely. I was just curious about that because that's something I'd never seen before.
That's fascinating.
You're good.
All right, SonicFox. So, a lot of people debate whether or not you are the motherfucking GOAT. And on paper, I would say that it's not really debatable. If we didn't take into account this one thing that I think a lot of motherfuckers take into account, right? So, do you believe? Hold up, people telling me. All right, I ain't worried about none of that right now. If anybody talking crazy about me, actually, it's not even time for that. No comment. I can handle all that in person. So, anywho, a lot of people say, well, they feel like Street Fighter has like the highest level of competition. Like it's more so than like other games and everything, right? Mm-hmm. I have not experienced those other games, like those like Mortal Kombat and so on and so forth. But I do feel like Street Fighter has like the most kind of like crazy competition internationally and stuff like that. Do you agree that Street Fighter has the most competition? And do you think that's a GOAT debate?
Yeah, that just makes sense. Like Street Fighter naturally does have the most competition, and in terms of whether it matters in terms of me being the best or not, doesn't actually matter to me because I placed top 8 at like one of your first premier tournaments, so I don't really give a shit. So we're one of the worst characters in the game too. Okay. So I placed top 8 in one of your.
We all saw the same.
You saw the worst character in the game too at the time too. So I mean, like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. The season 1 fighting, bro. I'm telling you.
It was the very first premiere. That tournament had like 2,000 people.
Yep,
like, no
and I made top 8 in that bitch, bro. So
you should look at those results from that top 8, Rob. It'll be like a nostalgia trip.
That's still different though than than consistently like the way. Do you think? Okay, hypothetically, if you were to play Street Fighter, right? Because
I'd be good at it. I believe that.
Okay, my opinion. Listen, I know you say you're gonna be good. I'm saying I feel like you would be one of the best in the world. It goes without saying. I feel like, you that nice. But do you think it's possible for you to dominate? Like, we've never seen anyone in the history of Street Fighter dominate like years in a row like you have in those other games.
I would say Punk did. For a
No.
Yeah, he had 1 year.
Not years in a row. That was 1 year.
Maybe but like even I don't, even in NRS games, like the only NRS game I really, really dominated for years was MKX, and that's it. And even then, that's not true anymore because Ninja Killer was here. But before that, MK11, no, I haven't been dominating that for years at all. I just happen to win the biggest events when they mattered most. But like, that doesn't necessarily mean I've been winning everything because MK11, that's apparently not true.
I'm just saying, I don't think people have like even the level of which you have dominated over the years. I don't think that's ever happened in Street Fighter.
It's close. Punk, you got it. Yeah. Punk 2017 and 2019.
It's pretty close.
I think Punk 2017.
Yeah. Punk was my gold, bro. Punk was my gold for a while, bro. Yeah, Punk was my gold for a while.
I thought 2019 was the first half of the year, and then Bonchan was the second half of the year.
Yeah, but if you combine those runs, it's a long calendar run.
I want to say when Knuckle Dude was like really, really playing, like he was also my gold for a while too when Street Fighter came out.
Knuckle Dude's so sick.
He was like actually my gold in that game.
He was my all-time favorite.
Yeah, actually just bodied everyone, bro.
I love watching you play so much.
But before I dropped the game, he used to practice God against my Urian at the time, and I was just sitting here like, bro, how do you even play this matchup?
I played that matchup a lot of times. I'm not gonna say that I beat him in it, but I may have.
Wasn't that because Dew was always losing to Nemo? Wasn't that like,
he
wanted to practice it against me, I guess.
But then he beat Nemo with Mika.
Exactly.
With Mika.
No, me and Dew practiced that for a while, and he switched to Mika. Yeah. I
hope he's doing well. I haven't heard of him in a while, but I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, no, he's fine. But so all right, so Sonic. So right now, as far as not playing Street Fighter, like you don't not play it because of like it's not the style of game that you like. Because I don't know.
No. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I legitimately
it's
thought
not boring to you.
No. I legitimately thought SF5 was bad on release, and I was like, I will not force myself to play a bad game.
It's a valid.
I'm like, I will not force myself to play a bad game. I'm like, Fang is so cool, but one, at the time that I played him, he fucking sucks, and two, the game I feel is just like. It's just not finished, and I just legit think the mechanics even work. Which is why I'm so mad that SF5 is where it is right now, because I legitimately think it's a really, really good game that I would have a lot of fun with. I would main Seth without any hesitation in this version of the game.
V-Trigger 2?
Yeah, V-Trigger. When Seth initially came out,
you would do some shit.
Yeah, when they initially came out, I created even when V2 was bad at the time, I created some crazy ass set play tech that even Dogata at the time stole. I was like, you're a fucking genius, but. I legitimately thought SF5 was a bad game, and it literally has nothing to do with the term title Street Fighter, because I do think I can be good at a Street Fighter game. I just legitimately thought SF5 on release was a bad game, and so where it is now, I would happily learn it, but I'm like SF6 is already been announced, and I'm just gonna wait. I might dabble. So what I'll do is I might dabble in it for a little bit just to get my bare bones down again. Yeah, to get the SF fundamentals down, which I do think to an extent I do have, but I'm just waiting for SF6 because I do think a lot of the really scrubby shit that I disagreed with in 5, I think, so as we've seen so far, do not exist in Street Fighter 6.
I don't know. That's a controversial opinion right now.
That's not my
Are you saying things that currently exist in 5?
Yeah. Yeah, things that currently. Well, I mean, I think it's like I said. Right now, I think it's much better because it's actual defensive mechanics.
Well, what currently exists? What's the scrubby stuff right now?
V-trigger.
Let's hear it.
I think it's kind of like the dumbest shit I think I've ever seen. The fact that I can be beating you up and making you meet your win condition is probably the most insane shit I think I've ever seen in a fighting game. Like, no funny.
I mean, nobody.
X Factor was like that. Yo, now X Factor is like that. Hold on.
I forgot iDom was in here.
iDom, now you're wondering why I don't play UNCENSORED 3. I think comeback mechanics like that are really scrubby. I think, like really scrubby. I think. Go ahead.
Dragon Ball has limit break. There's tons of comeback mechanics though.
I don't play GBFC anymore.
Oh.
I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck happened to your mic?
It's
like you just died. You good?
Nah, like I'm highly considering not playing at DBFZ anymore. I might just play. I legit haven't played it like seriously at all for like, the entirety of last year because I think season 4 they kind of ruined the game. So. I'm not having fun.
Is lab quote still broken, right?
Yeah. Well, this is not a DBFZ conversation though. Point is that my gripes to Street Fighter V is that I think the comeback system, the fact that I can be hitting you and outplaying you, and then you touch me once and I actually lose the entire game is.
It's not that though.
You never lost.
It ain't you get touched once and you die. It ain't.
It's you get touched once and you
Street Fighter V players.
I played Urian, bro. I know it's good, bro. I played against Mika, bro. I know it's good, bro.
Rushdown,
you do not lose. You do not lose to one touch to Mika. She has to command grab you 6 times.
She does have to command grab you 6 times. You just gotta keep guessing a few times in a row, but it ain't like you.
You can't do anything about it.
Mika is pretty dumb, but it's not one interaction.
There are instances in some of the top tiers I think that can do one interaction and just kill you. I've seen it. I've seen it. Now, does it happen a lot? Maybe not because people actually have good defense in this game now. But before I didn't know, like way before though, when the game was like actually shit, bro. Like,
hold on. Rob, can you read what Automatic just said?
Yeah, hold up. Let me see. Hold up. It's not a reactionary game, Street Fighter V. Yo, how the fuck is Street Fighter V not reactionary automatic? Let me know. Bro.
I don't understand.
I don't get why people say that
so much.
I don't get that concept.
I do not understand the statement that people make.
Literally, like.
I mean, there are people get caught up on the moves that you can't react to, which you're not even supposed to attempt to. I think that's a big hang up. Like they just can't move past like EX tackle, EX straight, and EX zonk. Like 3 moves completely cast a spell on the perspective of the rest of the game. Like,
even in the NRS games, there's moves you can't react to. That's just how it is. I mean, that doesn't mean like. But NRS games are like some of the most reactionary games I've ever played. It's literally in order to be good at an MK11, like it's actually MK11, you have to be able to whiff punish. If you cannot whiff punish, you were doomed to forever be a mid-low level player.
That's the same thing in
Street Fighter 6. I mean, Street Fighter 5 is like that too.
Street Fighter 5.
You got to
mid-level, low intermediate players whiff punish good.
Yep. Yes. That's why I say I think that in terms of like whiff punishment and competition, I do think Street Fighter 5 is pretty up there. But if you were to ask me what game I think is the hardest in terms of competition and level, I think it's Tekken. I think Tekken's way harder than Street Fighter. But the level on the player base.
Tell that to the Tekken players because they complain about Akuma.
They say
the game in that game he jumps in a game where you're not supposed to be able to jump. Right. And he TODs you from it. Every one thing.
The whole point of Tekken is that you play it for years and you keep getting better and better and better at the franchise.
And
then
they
introduce a curveball out of nowhere. That's not what they're used to in Street Fighter, and I think in other 2D games, like you're used to just having new shit every game, every season, completely different perspective on the engine. But Tekken's not like that. So suddenly these characters break the rules, and it's like I've been playing this franchise for 10 years.
You, bro. Why does he have a 10-frame launcher, bro? Like I understand why Tekken players get pissed off at Akuma because he's literally breaking the rules of the game.
Didn't you play Zafina in Tekken?
But she has topped it, but she isn't in the realm of playing the rules of Tekken.
Yeah,
she's just mad fucking stupid. That's it.
She's the 50-50 character, though, right?
No. She every character in that game is a 50-50 character. I'm just taking the stack. But it's more you can't. It's really hard to hit her. She's just like, bro.
Yeah, no, she has.
You just fucking can't hit her. She's just running from you. But no, it's the idea that like one of the most important things in Tekken is punishment, right? And So a lot of characters like their moves purposely are like -11, -12 because like sure you can get punished, but the punishment is just like it's very low. Like the way you're gonna punch you is gonna be like jab jab, right? Akuma is gonna do jab DP FD cancel. You're gonna lose 70% of your life into a 50-50.
I mean, I mean, I played
that is just about the most like insane shit I've ever seen, like ever in Tekken, and that is why that character is always gonna be top 1 and why he still has that. And so when Tekken players get pissed off, or even when they're playing neutral and playing good footsies, and then Akuma players jump, and it's just like, why is the character jumping at me in Tekken? What is happening? Why can't I just get TOD from it? I'm sure you guys seen that clip when that Akuma was at like 1% of health against that Jin player on the fucking Hammerhead stage.
Yeah,
and then he just jumps back and kills him.
I don't care. That shit was sick.
It was sick, but also like, bro, fuck that, bro.
Yeah, but every game needs a certain amount of dumb, scrubby shit. It has to exist.
I agree, but like, and like that over the top, no. That over the top, no. That doesn't have to make you drop the game.
We need stuff that's not over centralizing. Like as long as we have bullshit that doesn't change the meta so that everyone plays the same character, I think that's fine. Like we need
I agree.
a villain. We need something to complain about.
Yeah.
It depends. Like I feel like that's my problem with DNF Duel. I won't go on too long, but I feel like the game is gonna get over centralized. Like that game is supposed to be bullshit.
Fighting game players.
Can somebody
that game actually terrible.
Yeah, like
that
why
is disrespectful.
Why is that popping right now? Because people telling me that the game is shit, but
everybody like it. I can't tell you.
It's a popcorn
people like
game,
broken
bro.
shit. People like broken shit. That's literally
But people also complain about broken
shit.
shit.
My problem with the broken shit is it's not fun broken shit. It just
it's not fun.
You have to play the top 3 characters broken shit because your broken shit doesn't work. The game is badly designed.
So you think it's gonna fall off, man?
I said that and I got roasted, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll fall off. I'm still gonna play it. I mean, it's fun because you can quickly hop in a game and you can quickly get games. It's new. It's flashy looking. It's easy to pick up,
put it perfect.
Games.
In the chat room. It's Hokoto no Ken for 2022. Yeah, that's literally what that game is. So
is it that crazy? I don't know.
Yes.
No, it's not crazy.
I don't think it's pretty that broken.
Too simple. The bullshit is too easy to do. That's why it gets boring. It's over centralizing. Like you must play Hitman. You must play Swiftmaster.
The fact that you can TOD me from an unreactable DP that's safe on block, literally. It's disrespectful to me as a fighting game player.
I don't think they play the game. I mean Grappler, and I'm pretty sure they didn't play Test Grappler because he does not work in the game. Like it doesn't make sense.
People love Super Turbo.
I have been watching Hokoto no Ken.
Super Turbo is hard to play.
It's hard to do, but it's the same.
Bullshit needs to be hard to do for it to be respected, right? So in older games, execution is hard as fuck. So not everyone is picking up the game and doing this bullshit. And the bullshit also has a lot of depth to it. There's a lot of nuance in the engine. The engine is fucking weird. DNF dual bullshit is just in your face. Like you don't have to think to do it.
Check out this Block Infinite, bro.
You do Hitman Awakening DP. Like there's no barrier to entry whatsoever. So everyone just starts doing that. So if everyone could immediately duel the broken shit, then if everyone's broken, no one's broken, right? So everyone just is going to play Hitman or Swiftmaster, and that's it. And everyone's an amazing player. But in Super Turbo or any other busted game, if they hide that between the layers of like having to actually get good at the game, then people can see levels to the broken shit. And that's why people love broken games that have like a lot of depth to them. Melee, MBC2, Super Turbo, right? Like you see new shit all the time because it's levels to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm also a Skullgirls player too, so I'm used to seeing bullshit all the time. But like, at least it's controlled. That's what's important to me. If it's controlled bullshit, and you have to be good. Yeah.
So I guess it's not really relevant who it is, but like one of the homies, he told me like, yo, and MK, and I remember you tweeting about this or talking about it in a video. I think it was a stream you did or something, and it was something about like MK players don't lab or something like that, right?
Yes.
Now I don't know anything about all this. Like I'm not in the MK community. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. But when I hear you say that, well, I guess especially hearing you say it since you're the best player, like are you saying even in like amongst the top 8 players and stuff like that, you feel like to this day people just don't know the punishes to things? They're not labbing matchups. Like, what's the extent of that? Because that sounds fucking crazy. That's foreign to me.
I think like the mid-high level play is like people don't lab enough as much as they should, or like they don't. It's like they're trying really hard not to interact with their other opponent, which is really weird because MK11 is a game where you like unlike MK11 is a game where you're forced to interact with your opponent. So I think it's a lot better now, the community understanding that they have to do that. But for a time, no, people weren't labbing shit, and I was just sitting here like, bro, like a lot of characters they thought was way more broken than I'm just like, no, those characters actually not that good because you just need to lab X, Y, and Z, and it's like, oh, the character's actually not as fucking powerful as we thought he was.
But when I say that, I get ridiculed by the whole community.
Yeah, but
you're saying that about Laura.
But
no, that's for now. That's not.
It became a meme where I was just like, I literally one of my streamers was like, 99% of this game, 99% of the players on this game are not good at their game, and like it became a meme. It's like I'm the 1%. It was like on the 90, like you can see because you can change the variation names, and in Mortal Kombat 11 you just see a lot of like mid-high level players changing their variation names to like 99%er or some shit like that. It was like not funny, but I think the level of competition is a little higher now, and they can for what it's worth, despite the community not labbing shit, like I do think. In terms of whiff punishment, though, like the NRS community is pretty high in that regard compared to
neutral game and stuff like that.
Yeah, your neutral game and like whiff punishment.
To me, MK11, it felt like one of the things I liked about it when I was trying it was like I feel like whiff punishment was a lot easier than Street Fighter 5, than Street Fighter to me.
Yeah, I do think it is. That is true. I mean, that is correct.
Yeah, it feels a lot easier.
I remember when Katana Prime came over to Street Fighter V and was talking mad shit about the NRS community's neutral and whiff punishment. So I don't know. He was saying this shit was much harder. I've obviously not played, so I don't know.
Yeah, SF5, you have to consider MKX and SF5 are around the same time, but MK11 is when it was like neutral and punishment.
I think that's what it was. I don't remember exactly when Katana Prime switched.
But I want to say that I do agree that it is a bit easier. It's a necessity in that kind of game because it's all you're really looking for. Versus in like, I feel like in Street Fighter, there's a lot. Obviously, it's what makes it a different game. It's just a bunch of different things you have to look out for, especially with how you handle fireball game, how you handle movement and things like that. But like, and with the movement in MK11 being actually faster than Street Fighter, if at high level, if you can wave dash, it is way faster than. Street Fighter 5, it makes whiff punishment a little bit more difficult. So when players are still capable of whiff punishing like that, comparative with their movement, it's legit like 2D Tekken. And that's why I think like a lot of like the high level play is like insane in terms of whiff punishment.
Bro, you making me want to play that game, but I know I'm gonna get on it and I'm be like, this is dog.
You go into a Cabal and be like, wow, we're not actually playing neutral. I'm sorry. You know what's wild? I went into a Fusion and they're playing Injustice inside of an
Mortal Kombat, and I think this will get like a lot of Street Fighter players like put some respect in Mortal Kombat. In Street Fighter, when you hold back to walk back, you are option select blocking. Yeah. Right? Like you cannot do that in NRS games and Mortal Kombat, right? Like if you walk back,
movement is commitment. Movement is commitment.
Right. Like we don't have to commit to walking backwards. Walking back is an option. It's like I can block mid and walk backwards at the same time. In NRS, you have to choose. You have to either do the block button or move. Like your movement is very committal. If you walk back, you can.
That's actually dope though. That's a cool.
Yep. That's why wave dashing is important because you need to be able to catch up to them. You need to like play footsies with you because you can also wave dash backward if you're nasty. It's a little harder, but you need to be able to catch up to your opponent. You need to be like with punishment. I think is way more difficult. I think in some regards than it
players
is.
Are actually OGs now. Yeah. NRS players are actually OGs now. Like I remember when I first started playing MK9. It's like I was actually able to get top 8, but it was like the NRS community because the NRS community didn't like form yet.
Yeah.
I remember like in one of my earliest MK tournaments, that was when I first met you, SonicFox, and you bodied me in top 8. I think it was But now it's been 10 years since then. So now there's OGs. Yeah. Like that community is really fucking good now.
It's really humbling to a lot of players when they especially from shooting like, oh yeah, we're gonna come over to the NRS game, take their money, and go. It never happens. It just never happens. The only closest player to actually doing that is Minority.
Yeah. It happened MK9 days, but that was year 1.
That's before we were even a community. So we can't even call it an NRS community. Now we have like players that are just like you can't just sit here and just come over and think you can just win because you play Street Fighter.
Yeah, well, I mean you never should be able to do that.
I remember that was like a huge like we used to. I'm sure you guys seen it too. We just get so pissed off seeing that shit like that, bro.
The ego of the Street Fighter 4 era players was wild. Like I'm an old 2010er pretty much. So I was getting good with the people who were good at Street Fighter 4. They would say shit like that all the time. I remember like my sensei who taught me Street Fighter 4, he's my boy, but I remember he said like, bro, you don't think if we just picked up Melee, like we'd be godlike, like winning? And I was like, no.
Who taught you Street Fighter 4, Brian?
What's up?
Who taught you Street Fighter 4? Curious.
JC from South Florida. Story, JC.
Oh yeah.
The South Florida crew. Yeah, JC was the guy who taught me everything.
Very interesting.
And for what it's worth, too, even with like Street Fighter 6, I'm not gonna. I don't expect when I go and play that game, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start biting everyone. I actually expect to lose really, really early on. So especially when I won, not won, but when I top at Street Fighter 5, that was actually probably the biggest surprise to me. Because literally my long-term goal was like, I'm gonna work hard in this game, and I'm gonna really, really try my best to try to make a top 8 way later in the year. And then
Sonic,
hold on. Yeah, I would actually say it would be the other way around. I would expect you, with your experience, to be significantly stronger early on. You're good at learning.
I would only say that if I practice Street Fighter 5 right now.
Sonic, don't you remember when I was playing you and I thought you were really good compared to like the top players of Street Fighter 5 at that time? It was actually no surprise to me. I really missed when you played Street Fighter 5 and we tried to come back and play Gil. I really missed that too. I wish you had stuck with me.
It's so offensive because the coolest characters in the game are fucking low tier, bro. Like, it really bothers me. I don't think it's better. I don't think it's better now. I thought Gil was the worst character in the game, but I'm not sure if he still is right now.
No, he's not. He's definitely not.
He's not even worse.
I know at the time. Yeah, I know at the time he was the worst character in the game, and it really bothered me because I thought my Gil was actually nasty, but like he just fucking sucked. So I'm just like, I am doomed to play my favorite character who's the worst character.
Yeah, I ain't gonna cap. Your Gil was ass, bro.
Yeah, Gil was ass. And the things you complained about Street Fighter 5, like I had the same beef with like V Trigger and stuff, but V Shift balances that.
I actually remember to Rushdown. I used to run into your Urian a lot in quick match. Yeah, with my Gil.
I don't know what your name was. I'm sorry.
No, I ran into your Urian a lot.
Did I win?
Yes, but it was close. You did win. It was close, bro. It's just like, I can do this, bro.
If I lost, that was my nephew. GG's, that was me though, because I
won. No. You beat me, but I was like, as I was playing this matchup, I was just like, bro, I can do this, bro. Like, I can get good. And then I was like, wait, this character's fucking shit. I should just play Urian.
Yeah, you should definitely. Now it's close though. Now it is Urian and Gil. Like, I think you actually have a legit reason to pick one or the other.
Yeah. Before it wasn't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Look, I want to ask y'all at least just 2 more questions. One is for Sonic, but this first one is for like the chat as a whole, right? So, who is whether you're in the chat or in the conversation right now? We can start with Brian since the audio on the left. Who is your fighting game GOAT? Since we have somebody who's guaranteed on the Mount Rushmore on here right now, who is your actual number 1 fighting game GOAT?
I gotta pick one.
Yes, or if you say it's out of 2, you can
put me on the spot.
I know that's rough. Mine is Daigo. I'll just say mine is Daigo.
Daigo is definitely up there. It's hard to pick one. I mean, because like I feel like SonicFox has done a lot more for other scenes, right? For Street Fighter, it's Daigo. They view it that way.
No, not Street Fighter. We're talking about it as a whole. For me, I think it's either you try to duck. I think it's either Daigo or it's probably either Daigo. Damn, that is tough. Daigo, Sonic.
It's gonna be like Daigo, Justin, Reinhardt, Tokido. Like, to me, it has to be Justin for now, just because Justin is, legend status. He's been around long enough and has done across the most games. Daigo has done it for like the Street Fighter games, Alpha and Guilty Gear, but I feel like, maybe I'm wrong. I feel like Justin has a bit more variety than Daigo does, but Daigo did a lot in his early career. If you look,
the reason Daigo was high to me because of like outside of even just fighting game stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. Like, his the whole presence and what he's done for the scene. Yeah.
Like, Daigo made me want to play Street Fighter 4 and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Daigo just so like an ambassador.
Yeah, we got enough distance from Daigo for him to be a legend too. You know what I'm saying?
That's
true. Justin is human to us.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Daigo, different language barrier. We don't see him as often.
More mystique.
Like legend status. Yeah, the mystique is there.
So yours is so you say Justin then, Brian?
I'll go with Justin.
All right, what you say? I don't know.
I'll go with Justin too. I got Justin too. Bro, Justin's the GOAT. I don't know how you can even argue that. Justin's literally the GOAT.
Yeah, Justin. So for me, it's either Justin, Tokido, or actually SonicFox. The reason why I say SonicFox is because like I literally played him when he was 12, grow, and like he's one of the few players besides the 2 other players that's able to navigate both 2D and which is not easy. I remember when I tried to play Tekken from a Street Fighter perspective, I was like, bro, like how do these frames work? Like press buttons at disadvantage.
Not hard.
Like no. I mean, I understand it now, but coming from a 2D perspective, where if you're in the corner, you're in the corner. If you're at negative frames, you're screwed. And trying to understand that around but like it took me a while to wrap my head. So like that's why I have Chris G's.
All right, what you say? Who's yours, Rushdown?
I mean, I think you got to pick Justin, but since everybody else did, I'm going to say Knuckle Do because I ain't never seen anyone frame trap by taking the shades off before. It's the coldest shit I ever seen in a fucking game. That's literally the reason I started playing Street Fighter. I saw that set.
Yo, just a reminder, you guys all picked Fighter. I was the only one that picked somebody out.
Justin Wong is not a Street. I'm saying Justin Wong is the GOAT for what he did in Marvel.
Just as a whole.
I should say Capcom. I'm sorry. Capcom.
All right, Sonic. Who
has like
who is
good
your
performances in Tekken
go ahead,
too?
Brian, my bad. Justin competed in Tekken.
Yeah, he did. He actually got top 8 at Evo twice, and he actually won final round. I remember this because I was there. I was playing Tekken with him.
Ryan Hart's also definitely a good one too.
Yeah,
he has both of my favorite Street Fighter 4 sets of all time were played by Ryan Hart in the same Capcom Cup. Both of his sets versus Momochi were sick.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sonic. Who's your GOAT?
I mean, I can't pick myself.
Yeah, you can.
So I have to.
If you are, do you think you the GOAT?
Nah. I would probably pick Goichi because that's my
Goichi.
When Goichi really sets his mind to something, bro. Like
Goichi's amazing.
And this is a dark horse. This is a dark horse I'm about to throw out here, but Ninja Killer, bro. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all right now. Y'all don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm telling you guys right now. If Ninja Killer puts his mind on your game, you guys are fucked.
All right.
I'm telling you, he's single-handedly the hardest person I think I've had to deal with in the fight.
But I'm saying GOAT. So you said
that doesn't mean GOAT.
Talent-wise,
might be the best in the world.
He hasn't done enough to be the GOAT.
GOAT, yeah. Yeah. GOAT in terms of GOAT, I would have to like. I feel like I would have to choose myself. I just like.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
You know, I'm gonna keep it a stack to everyone. I'm gonna keep it a stack to Justin. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I'm gonna keep it a stack to Daigo. I have spectacles, so some of my favorite players ever. But I'm like, do you got esports player of the award?
Talk to these niggas. Go ahead, keep going.
I'm sorry, in a fighting game, mind you. I'm just, like,
this is the kind of confidence we need out of iDom.
I'm just saying, there's no beef. There's no beef. There's just no beef.
No, I ain't
there's no beef. I'm only spitting facts here. I'm just like, if the moment Justin also gets it, and the moment Daigo also gets it, bro, they I'll gladly retire that title to one of them.
All right. You just look at accolades. SonicFox, you're number one. I would say you're number one, but to me, it's just not enough time. That's it. Like
one more time. I know that's fair. Yeah, with more time, I think I'm out of here, bro. Trust.
Yeah, it's definitely two different eras. So it's like you kind of
it's different eras. It's hard. I'm saying that too. It's really hard to compare.
So obviously it's harder now.
I'm still early too. I'm still in my early years too. So I got another 16 years before I become Sato.
Who has the most Evo wins 2009 and on?
I have 5.
Good question.
5. See, I think that might be you then. You have 5. You said
DBFZ, MKX twice.
Question.
MK11 and Injustice 1.
Fucking wild. I have 5 post 2009 Evo trophies chilling with me right now.
Have you seen my video of all my accolades? It's actually
I think I've seen it, bro. That shit is always wild. I mean Tokido's also, and it's like Justin's Jesus.
That was my go-to. Tokido and Kazunoko are also kind of low-key my goats too. I fuck with those guys.
I also have an Evo championship in this chat. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh my god. Bruh. Okay.
That's facts.
Yeah. Sonic, that's dope as fuck that you look at yourself as the GOAT, yo. Like, I feel
I'm off of results. I'm like, I kind of have to, right?
That's
like,
I'm
not trying to beef. I'm like, or even be like narcissistic or anything. I'm just like, if I had to compare my results and the accolades I've won, I'm one of the only FGC players that have just transcended the fucking FGC itself, which is like pretty unheard of. So.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And Sonic. Okay. The last thing that I want to ask you about is, and of course, only go into as much detail as you want to, but of course, you body shit in all of these different games, right?
Yep.
And you know, my theory is that, like, I feel like a lot of fighting games are probably the same, even though the mechanics are all different. I think in the end of the day, after you learn the mechanics, at least I would imagine, it comes down to like reading your opponent, like building strategies and reading your opponent. So it's kind of like playing the same game, even though you're playing different games. Like, is that how it works for you, or is that off base?
No, I especially since I'm a Skullgirls player, I don't really look at it like that. It does come down to building different strategies, but like you have to consider these strategies are always vastly different from fighting game to fighting game. So I can't sit there and compare it and saying, oh, I'm just gonna use the same strategy that I would do in MK11 and Street Fighter and think it's gonna work. No, that's not
the same strategy, but I'm saying
like, let's say even like a similar concept of strategy, like it just doesn't cross over. I have to be good at Street Fighter, right, in order to be able to sit down and start reading the hell out of my plays. Sure, there's some player skill that might carry me over, and so based off of reads alone and like neutral and fundamentals, I could sit there and be like, yeah, I'm just outplaying this kid without even knowing what the fuck his character is doing. But at the end of the day, like knowledge checking, awareness, like and like studying, I think does play a factor in being consistent in each games. And so when I'm crossing over from, even when I was dabbling in Tekken for a little bit, like I had to sit down and really learn literally like 40 plus character matchups in order to even be considered mid-level at that game, because it's just that important to have those knowledge checks. Otherwise you're gonna run into Bloody Bob Joe who's gonna do some cap shit to you and you're gonna lose the entire game. So having that knowledge, I think, is pretty important. And then once you come down and have all that knowledge, I don't necessarily think it's the same, because every single game is played differently. For example, when I'm playing Tekken, like let's say I was going to be sitting there at the highest level, I'm going to be constantly focusing on movement and whiff punishment. Versus in Skullgirls, I'm going to be sitting there focusing on neutral control with my beam assist and things like that. Versus in like Street Fighter, I can't really speak too much of Street Fighter, but I might be sitting there like I'm at Robbie with my V-trigger.
Oh my god,
that's why you lose it.
Yeah. But it's just like the way you have to go about each fighting game is different. I can't sit here and say like once I get to the highest level it's all the same, because that's not necessarily true. And I find enjoyment out of each fighting game at its highest level play, and I think the most enjoyment I get at highest level play of any fighting game to this day is still Skullgirls, because you can literally do whatever the fuck you want. You name it, you can do it. If you think of it, you can do it, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. So, I've never played the game. Big Band is probably the sickest fighting game character I've ever seen.
I could play Take On Me with him.
Yeah, it's so sick. I saw someone hit someone with a happy birthday and play Happy Birthday. I lost my shit.
Hold on. I'm about to link you before I head out of here. Let me link you something real quick, Rob, for the culture.
Have you ever seen Big Band, Rob? Have you ever seen Big Band?
I don't think I have, actually.
Oh my god!
I got you two. I got you two videos. Here's one. Number one.
You have the Happy Birthday one?
Yeah.
So good.
I'm grabbing it.
Hold
up. This is mine. This one's mine.
I'm playing it on stream. I'm about to play it on stream.
Yeah.
Big Band songs.
Yeah. You'll see. Oh, we can't hear.
We can't hear.
You guys can't hear. I wonder. No. Oh, is Twitter muted?
Okay, here's number two. It's a Facebook video, but you should still play.
Hold up. Can you hear this? Hold up.
No.
I can hear it on your stream. They can't hear it. They can't hear it through the call, though.
Oh.
Alright, yeah. I thought you were punching.
Yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yo, did the song have anything to do with the move he just did?
What the fuck is that? The second clip I linked to you, this is actually happening at the tournament. Like, this is one of the most viewed Skullgirls like clips of all time. The second one I linked in the Discord.
Like you play that with the buttons.
Yeah. I sat there for 2 hours trying to learn that song. So this is happening in a tournament. It's one of the most viewed clips of all time.
All right, let me play this. This not you playing? Oh no, it's not. Okay.
Turn this shit up.
Yeah, get some.
This shit's so good.
Let's see if Happy can bring this back.
Oh, this no sound.
Meters. This is actually terrifying.
Oh
my goodness. Happy birthday. That's not
Nah. Hold on, I gotta play that shit one more time, bro. What the fuck?
This is
watch videos of all time, bro. And it's so sick. And so like it's so funny because I'll be running into quick matches. Like, the Big Band's a top tier support, right? And so I'll be running into like random ass Big Band plays, just playing them as random shit randomly in neutral. Like some guy will be playing the fucking SpongeBob Krusty Krab theme.
It doesn't actually. Does the music actually do anything, or you just can do it?
No, you just get to play whatever you want.
You get to just troll, bro. You can do nothing. Fire. You can wait 5 whole seconds. You be like honk, and then you fucking kill them.
Nah.
Oh, he has third strike parries and shit too. Like what a fucking dumbass character. Don't even get me started on Big Man. But anyways, that's my time. I'm gonna fucking go.
Yo, Sonic. Thanks for coming through somewhere. I really appreciate you.
It was fun talking about the FGC. Talking y'all. I'm telling y'all still lie. Tags.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me, guys.
You better be playing some Street Fighter 5 before Street Fighter 6 comes out. By the way,
I'm gonna try. I'm probably like 2-3 months before it drops. I'm probably gonna pick up Street Fighter 5 and try to play Seth for a little bit.
All right.
The character I probably want to play is brand new, so I don't know how much that's gonna actually matter because I want to play Jamie and that other character that looks like Fong, but it's not Fong.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. But anyways, that's my time. I'll catch y'all.
Later, fam.
Later.
Yo, Big Brian. Appreciate you coming through, my G. You was in here in the trenches today with us. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to survive out here.
Yeah, that shit was fun as fuck. I don't appreciate you, bro. Always giving your takes and everything.
No problem.
Fucking crazy ass takes. And my boy, Big Rush Deezy. Rush, bro. I always tell people that I know this not what you're pursuing, but I feel like you are like one of the most entertaining motherfuckers in America. Like,
I don't agree.
Yo, what you think about that?
I'll take it though, because I'll take it, but I don't agree.
Literally think so, bro. And the points you even bring up on something like this, or the way that you think, like even outside of just hype trash talking shit, I feel like it's actually godlike, bro. So hopefully you do stuff like Street Fighter League, make more content and all that type of shit. You entertain the motherfucker. But yeah, appreciate all of y'all coming on. I'm out this bitch. I'm gonna holler at the stream real quick. Yo, y'all already should know these people's things, but chat, can people type in my man Brian's Twitch? Of course, Brian_F. My man iDom at iDom NYC. Make sure y'all follow them. Is yours Rushdown V2 or V3?
V3. V2 got DMCA'd.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and Rushdown V3 on Twitch. Make sure you follow all of my men. Chicote putting them in the chat right now. Appreciate y'all. All right, fellas. We got to do this again sometime.
Sure.
All right, later,
talk.
guys.
All right, boys. Peace.